Hey, this is Bree with Cosmic Siren. Welcome to the Siren Pod, a safe space for quirky and curious souls. I channel messages using tarot, stories, and music to help you trust your intuition, express your truth, and embody your genuine self so you can open your energy up to the life and soulmate connections you've always dreamed of. Think of me as your nerdy, witchy siren friend that wants to help you live life to the tune of your soul. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the new year. Happy New Year, by the way. And I wanted to dive deeper into the intentions behind 2025. To do that, I wanted to share with you my experience going into the new year. So as I was sitting down New Year's Eve and connecting with myself and my guides for the 2025 intentions, I immediately got the word flow. And from this, I immediately thought the balance between your inner divine feminine and divine masculine, those energies, balancing that within. The concept of yin and yang came up. And immediately I got the impression of the colors of blue and pink. It immediately came to me as a half blue and half pink type of energy where the left side of my body was flowing with pink energy and the right side of my body was flowing with blue energy. And that really made me think of the flow between masculine and feminine energies. I think in the past, when working with these energies, it would be kind of separate. I would be in my divine feminine energy, receiving, being creative, and slowing down and connecting with myself. But then I wouldn't take direct action, align action, and move that energy through to produce something, right? And immediately I thought of Sleeping Beauty. If you've seen it recently or remember, it's like Meriwether and Flora. And they would always change the dress, Aurora's dress, at the end of the movie between pink and blue. And they were always fighting about it, right? It was either pink or blue. And when they were creating the dress, they both pointed their wands at the dress. And then there was like this half pink, half blue concoction. And it was like a mess, right? And that just reminded me that you don't have to fight with each energy, right? Whether you lean more towards your feminine or masculine energy, there is an internal balance with all of us in between, just like yin and yang. And it's important that we accept and use those energies naturally as they flow through us. With the divine feminine energy, I was receiving messages of really surrendering, really receiving and opening yourself up to that energy, surrendering and connecting with your body, with your feelings, with your intuition. And then for that masculine energy, really directing and moving that energy out into an aligned action. So the main words were trusting those intuitive nudges, trusting the energy, trusting yourself, which would be that feminine aspect. And then for the divine masculine, it's expressing that energy, creating from inspiration and taking aligned action in the now, showing yourself. And it's the taking the aligned action now that really stood out to me. It's interesting that these messages were coming through now because within the last month, I actually saw that movie called Flow. I think it's a French movie. It was a limited release. It's an animated movie, and it's about animals, post-apocalyptic world, and there's no dialogue, but it's, the animal sounds and music. And I really recommend watching that movie, by the way. So if you haven't watched it, there will be a little bit of spoilers on the themes of the movie. So if you don't want any spoilers, then you can skip ahead a little bit. I'll put a timestamp. But in that movie, I really recommend watching it because it really showcased this concept of flow. And it's funny that only when I was sitting for New Year's Eve intentions that I connected this back to the movie Flow. If you've ever done that where you watch something and then it connects for you like months later. But in this movie, it really made me appreciate cats more. There's always that dilemma. Are you a cat or a dog person? And I always say I'm a dog person, right? But in the last couple of years, I've been appreciating cats more. I've been liking cats more. And I think, the cats are pretty interesting. And this movie really made me love cats more. And the movie really made me understood why cats are a witch's familiar. So in the movie, a cat is one of the main characters, and you can really see how the cat interacts with the world, with the universe. It's really intuitive. It really trusts its body, and it always gets these little hunches. And if it's afraid, it feels like something is wrong, then it backs off, right? It might go away, it might run away, but it won't interact with whatever that energy is. And during this movie, the cat would be really curious, right? The cat would follow those little nudges. It would sense something and want to go toward that, and it would find out what would happen, right? And during the movie, there was a couple times where the cat was afraid. It wanted to, for example, there was a time where it was hungry and it was on a boat in the middle of this large ocean and it saw little fish in the water. And so it was really scared, but it jumped into the water because it really wanted those fish and it caught the fish, right? And it kept catching the fish, right, for its friends. And there were some scary moments, right? The wave would come through, it would go underwater and it'd be very deep and it would look very scary. But there was this sense where the cat trusted that everything would be okay. And there was this one part during the movie that really embodies this energy of really surrendering and trusting into the universe. So during that scene, I'm not sure what happened, but the cat got really deep into water, so deep that it couldn't really get back up. And so it just kind of surrendered and fell into the water. And then the next thing you know, a whale came and supported the cat up to the surface, and the cat was fine. And that was just a beautiful moment. I really connected with that movie. It was a very spiritual experience for me. And that was just like a beautiful moment for the cat to realize, like, look, you pushed past your fear because you knew it's what you wanted to do. You knew that there was something that you really wanted. You pushed past your fear and you trusted in the universe to support you, because at the end of the day, it's just this message of the universe is here to support us. Whatever our dreams, whatever our desires are, they're meant to happen. They're meant for us. And we can trust that even if we don't logically know how it's going to happen, the universe is going to make it happen, right? The cat didn't know the whale was there. The cat didn't know it was going to be lifted up, but it was supported anyway. And that was a great reminder. There was also this point in the movie where the cat befriended this bird-like creature, and the cat got lost during the movie. I think it was like capsized off the boat, and it was on this island, and the boat was gone. It couldn't see. And it was stormy and the cat was meowing loud, right? But the other animals couldn't hear. And so something like connected with the cat, and the cat just had this intuitive sense to climb to the top of that path of whatever the island was. So it ran up these stairs, up this path, and it kept running and running, right? It kept running in sight. It was tired. It kept running. It didn't know what was at the top of the island, but it did it anyway, right? Because it just trusted itself. It had this sense. And at the very top of the island, its bird friend was there, right? It connected with its bird friend. Some really big spiritual thing happened, which you can watch. And then it ended up being reunited with the boat and its friends, right? It trusted itself. It went after itself. And because of that, it led the cat to connection, to support, to help. And I don't know why it took me till New Year's Eve to realize that concept of flow. It's receiving all those messages from around you, right? It doesn't matter if it's your body, your feelings, if it's the TV, if it's movies, if it's TV, if it's a honk outside, if it's a message through the door, if it's a word said through a friend or a loved one or someone random, if it's a ring in your ear, if it's a burning in your hand. It's just you're receiving all of those messages and you know that it means something, right? And you're trusting yourself that it does mean something. And then you are integrating and working with that energy and expressing that out. Sometimes people can get a hit of inspiration or an idea and they receive it, but then they don't take that action in the moment to express it out, right? And then with time, for too long, they think it's silly. Their ego gets into the way. They think it's not a good idea. They think, oh, it'll never happen. They're like, oh, this is too much. I can never make this happen. And our fear and our ego really can get in the way of us, right? It can really limit us. And that's the difference between our fear and our intuition, right? Fear will limit us. Fear will keep us small. But our intuition, our higher self, it's expansive, right? It's supportive. It's loving. That voice is very supportive. That voice is belief. And to understand this concept more practically, I wanted to share with you what this can look like in the physical world, in the practical world, in a day-to-day world, right? It doesn't have to be some big spiritual experience. It can be. But when you are living in flow, when you are balancing the divine feminine masculine energies, it can be for subjectively small things. normal things. I wanted to share with you what happened to me over the holidays to really express this idea out and how important it is to really trust yourself, listen to yourself, and take aligned action in the now and not delay things. I think a lot of times we can get that, like I said, hit of inspiration, idea, message, and we delay it. We can say, oh, I'll do it later. I'll do this tomorrow. We can forget, right? And what I've learned through my life after making a million mistakes and just anything, right? Relationships, career, anything really, delaying things has always caused me more stress, more harm than good. And it's always a learning lesson. And I'm sharing this with you, but I feel very silly about it because doing things in the now and not delaying things has been something I've been working on. And I have gotten a lot better at it. But this example is just another time where I decided to delay things again when I know I didn't need to. And it caused a little bit of stress. So over the holidays after Christmas, I'm on my family's phone plan, right? Our carrier plan. And they were having this promotion. You could trade in your iPhone for the new iPhone 16. And I always keep my phone until usually it dies. So, I keep it for years until it's basically, gone. And then I get a new one. So I have the 12 right now. And I was like, wow, I can just trade it in. And it was a free promotion, right? You have to pay the taxes or whatever. And then if you want an upgrade in the storage, you can pay the difference for that. So I just wanted like the better storage, right? I think it's 125 and 256. So I paid the difference for the 256 and I paid the taxes. So it was very, very, very cheap. And I got the new phone. And on the phone, the agent asked me and said, do you want insurance? And I said, oh, well, I have Apple Care. And I think she said, but I have 30 days to do it, or I could do it now. And I was like, oh, I'll just wait. I'll just do it later because I already have it. So that was that. That was that instance. And when I was trying to, and they mailed me the phone. So when I was trying to transfer my data from my old phone to my new phone, it wasn't working. I don't know what was with the Wi-Fi. It just kept getting stuck and buffering at this one step. So it wasn't working. So when I came back here to New York, I went into the Apple store and tried it there. I told them it wasn't working. Over there, it started working. It must have just been the Wi-Fi or something, but I don't know what it was. So it was working. Then I was talking to one of the sales reps, and I was talking to them about Apple Care. I said, hey, I have Apple Care on my 12. Does it transfer to the 16? And they said, no, you just have to cancel it and get a new one. They said, you could do it with us now, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, I'll just do it later. Again, later. I'm not sure why I kept saying that. I could just do it in the moment. And in that moment, I was like, I should do this now. I can. But I don't know what it is. It was just being lazy, something. And I was just like, I'll just do it later. It's fine. I already have it. What could happen, right? And so I had that phone for about 2 days. And fast forward, I was setting my New Year's Eve intentions, got all the messages about Flow, which I shared with you. After work, I had plans to go to a concert, a rave, see this DJ with some friends. And I was getting ready. I have this little bag that I use, and the zipper's okay, right? I've noticed that it kind of comes loose sometimes. And so it doesn't usually open the little bag for like more than a few inches, but it does. And in that moment, I was thinking, do I want to use this bag? What if it keeps coming off? I could use a different bag. And, I kept telling myself, no, I'll just watch it. It's okay. No, it'll be fine. Like, what's going to happen, right? And so I'm at the event and they have these electronic lockers you can use, which I got. So I put, my coat and things in there. And something in that moment, I was like, I should just leave my phone in here. I should message the code to my friends and then just leave my phone in here. And something again came over me. It was just, no, I don't need to do that. I'll keep my phone on me. I'll just watch my bag. It'll be fine. It's not going to be an issue. I don't need to text them anything. And so you might see where I'm going with this. So, I'm having a good time at the event. It's after midnight. It's probably 2 a.m. Who knows what time it is. And all is well. And then something happened. There was just a 5-minute window where I had my phone 1 second. I went to go get water. And as I was walking back to getting water, I realized my phone was not with me. I don't know what happened. Not sure what went on. We can all imagine what may have happened. So maybe my zipper got loose a little bit, maybe it fell out, maybe there were hands, who knows? But it is what it is. And so after that event, my friend sent me home. I got my stuff out of my locker. It was fine. The venue was able to open it up. And it was just like a headache, right? It was just a stressful situation, not very stressful. Like I knew I was going to be fine, but it was just like a meaningless situation. I got home. I put my phone on lock, and the next day I called, the carrier, and because I didn't have that insurance transferred over in those 2 days that I had it, they couldn't replace the phone. And I just felt silly, right? I had, Apple Care, that loss and theft thing on my 12, which I never used. And I had been paying that for 2 years. And of course, the 2 days that I have my new phone, the transition, and it's gone, right? And I thought I was just being very silly. To be honest, I thought the universe was just like playing games with me, because it was like, you knew better, right? In these moments, I had all these times where I had multiple chances to do what needed to be done, to take that aligned action in the moment when I know I needed to, right? And this is different than looking back on a situation and saying, oh, I could have done this, this, and this better, and that would have altered my situation. No, I, in the moment, had several situations where I was fighting with myself, not taking action for whatever reason, even though I knew, even though I received messages, even though it was like, hey, you should get this. Hey, you should put the insurance on. Hey, do you want to do this now? And it was that delay, right? I kept delaying for no reason. There was multiple chances for me to get the insurance, even though it had just been a couple days. There was multiple chances after that point to get a different bag. There was another chance for me to put my phone in my locker, but there were multiple instances where I could have changed my timeline. That's why I wanted to talk about living in flow. When you connect with yourself, your body, your feelings, your messages, and you don't dismiss them, and you're able to take aligned action in the moment, it's to support your best interests, right? It's to support your highest timeline. And I chose certain things because I ignored myself, right? I ignored those intuitive feelings, those messages where I knew that there was a safer option, there was a better option, there was a more supportive option, not to assume something bad was going to happen to my phone or me, but just because that's what I would do in the moment. That's what my higher self would do in the moment. That's what the better version of me would do in that moment, of who I imagine myself to be, right? I imagine myself to be someone that takes aligned action in the moment, to not delay things, to create an environment and safety net. And I wasn't doing that for myself. If I had gotten the theft and loss insurance, I could have replaced my phone. If I had used a different bag, maybe this situation wouldn't have happened. If I had messaged my friends my code and kept my phone in my locker, then maybe the situation wouldn't have happened, right? There was multiple instances where I could have changed my timeline. I could have changed my experience of the situation, but that didn't happen because I delayed it. I chose to ignore myself. And it was just this message of, this is an example, right? My reality reflected my actions. I was living an experience in a reality where I delayed myself. I ignored myself and my messages, didn't set up a supportive environment for myself, didn't act in the highest interest of myself. And this is what it looked like, right? And after it happened, I couldn't even be upset, right? It was only a few days. I couldn't even be upset. It was like the universe presented me with a new opportunity, right? A new phone, which I never have. I never have the phone, like the new phone in that moment. It's always like 2 years back, right? And there was a new camera, and I had been wanting to be using a new camera for better audio, better picture, for my business and just for myself. And it was just like the universe was like, here, abundance, receive it. But I wasn't ready to receive the abundance. I couldn't even support the environment for it. And so I just thought it was very, very silly, because that same day, that previous night, I was just getting messages for flow, to trust myself, take that aligned action. I had just watched that movie, To Live in Flow, take those aligned actions and to be better, to do better. And that night I chose not to, right? And it was like, I have to be compassionate to myself, right? But it was like, I didn't deserve nice things. I didn't deserve to receive all those things because I wasn't even going to take care of it, right? And of course, thinking back, give myself some grace, it happens. It Now I know, right? I learned my lesson. It's like, I don't know. It's like for me personally, it feels like I have to make mistakes and do things so that they hurt for me to get the lesson, and then I won't do it again, right? But I'm learning that I don't have to, right? It shouldn't have to take this situation for me to already set myself up for success. And that's the message for you, right? You don't have to keep pushing yourself through things to make it hurt, to have painful experiences for you to know what would happen, right? You know what needs to be done. You know what steps need to be taken to support yourself, to make yourself feel safe and secure. You know the type of person that you want to be. You know the actions you want to do. You know how you want to show up. You know how you want to speak. You can trust that you see yourself clearly. You see the person that you want to be. So you can trust that that's where you want to go. You don't have to wait for certain experiences to push you to do those. It's this message again of really connect with yourself and think about, who is it that I want to be? Who do I want to show up as? When you envision the life that you want to live for yourself, how do you talk? How do you act? What do you dress like? What kind of choices do you make? What are your values? How do you treat others? How do you treat yourself? You can trust that whatever you see is true, right? You don't have to keep dismissing it. You don't have to keep thinking that it's silly. You don't have to think that it's in your head. And whoever you do see, whoever you do picture in your mind, you can embody that person now. And it's interesting because after I saw that movie Flow, like a month ago or so, I actually wanted to share the message that I found in that movie. I wanted to share it, but something was just off, so I didn't. And it's just interesting because now, after I got those New Year's Eve intention messages and then the Flow movie connected, and then this experience that happened that same night, it all connected together. So now it all makes sense. And now it makes sense. All the elements came together so I could share this message with you. So again, this is why I share here. It's that you can learn through me. I hope that me sharing the messages from the movie and my New Year's Eve intentions and my experience over the holidays helps you so that you don't have to go through the same thing as me, right? You don't have to keep experiencing all this stress or drama or whatever it is. You don't have to keep experiencing your no to figure out what your yes is, right? You know what your yes is. And I think that's what it is at the end. You don't have to keep living in a no consistently. That pushes you to take an action away from your no. That's not what it is, right? That's what we're moving away from. You don't have to keep experiencing painful things just so you can pivot away from the pain. No, 2025 and Flow is about, you know what your yes is, so pivot toward your yes. It doesn't matter what you're experiencing in the moment. It doesn't matter if it's a no, if it's a maybe, if it's a lukewarm, right? You know what your yes is, so make actions show up and pivot toward your yes. So right now, just ask yourself, or in all of your decisions, what would make this a yes for me? It doesn't matter if it's subjectively small or big. A step toward your yes is still a step toward your yes, right? And that's what it is to live in flow. Some days, depending on your energy levels, depending on what's going on, you might be able to do a little bit more than you can a different day, right? But you're still going toward your yes. It doesn't matter if it takes you 20 steps toward your yes to reach a certain goal, or if it takes you 2 large leaps toward your yes, toward a goal. Because as long as you are on your yes path, you are still in your highest alignment, right? You are still connecting with yourself, honoring your feelings, honoring your heart, honoring your higher self. All right, I wanted to close out with my Ocean Dreams Oracle, and I'll read messages that stand out from the guidebook. Just messages from my Siren Pod family about 2025, indulging in flow. And I have Sacred Chalice. I don't think I've pulled this one before. I don't even remember this card, so I'm excited to read this. Heart chakra, goddess energy, divine gifts, wellspring of abundance. I am overflowing with possibility. I am a creative being. I am a magnet for love and abundance. In your heart of hearts is a wellspring of wonder. A bejeweled chalice beckons you. Adorned with pearls of wisdom your soul has gained across many lifetimes. Shimmering water spills from this holy cup like the gurgling laughter of a babe, giving life to your cherished dreams. The corals dance in the light of the new moon, in gratitude to the endless renewal of this creative force. The chalice is a portal, or intimate connection to the feminine divine. This womb-shaped vessel channels the creative impulse of the universe and nurtures it into form. It represents the element of water in the yin principle: magnetic, intuitive, receptive. Instead of chasing after what we desire, we radiate our light to attract goodness to us. As a symbol of communion and plenty, sacred chalice initiates us into abundance consciousness. There is always more than enough for everyone because the universe is in a perpetual cycle of regeneration. The best way to tap into unlimited potential is via love and gratitude. When we live in these high vibrational states, we align with the unconditional generosity of divine blessings. The celestial waters can flow freely to replenish us and flourish even more new growth. A very positive omen to receive, this beautiful card heralds a time of celebration when heartfelt wishes manifest, and life overflows with love and abundance. You are a magnet for love in all forms. Be open to resonant soul connections entering your experience. Blessed new beginnings are possible now. Embrace your bliss wholeheartedly, dear one, and don't forget to share your great fortune with others. Yes, and I think that's a beautiful reminder, too, that sometimes it's hard for us to receive, right? We think it's too good to be true, or maybe if someone offers help, we say no thank you because we don't want to bother them, whatever it may be. But this message is for you to understand that everyone deserves love, happiness, and light. There is enough in the world for everyone to live an abundant life, right? And abundance is just you receiving and overflowing with love and joy. And just another reminder to really connect with yourself and count your blessings and just remind yourself, what is it that you're grateful for, right? You are grateful for a roof over your head, that you're able to eat fresh food, that you are loved by your family, your friends, that you're able to walk, move around, and play, that you're able to choose to rest and snuggle in a blanket and lay on the couch, right? There's so many things to be grateful for. And when you're in this vibrational energy of gratitude and opening yourself up to receive, you will start noticing more of the abundance that is in your life, and you'll start receiving more. Also, if you're watching this real time when I release this, I will be releasing a tarot pick a card reading that will go with this video. I will be having piles for the 2025 year ahead. All right, well, those are all the messages that I have for you. Thank you so much for connecting with me. Please comment down below what resonated for you so I know how it worked out in your life. And please continue subscribing, liking the video, or commenting so I can connect with your energy for the collective readings. And as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I'm wishing you a very flowy 2025 and sending you warm wishes and soothing hugs.